Welcome, one and all.
This is the greatest show.
Check out this week's live stream.
Welcome to the show.
Hello, I'm Jimmy, and welcome to my house.
BALLCAP Nation. Assemble.
Let's go.
Which have guests from any location will come through via StreamYard. So for us, I mean,
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Here we are today on a Monday after a very busy frenzy across Major League Baseball. The free agency frenzy is kind of slowing down a little bit as most of the big names are now off the board. So what do we do next? We have to grade the deals. And I can tell you right from the bat, right off the start, the A's are going to be hard to come by. We're not handing out A's left or right, so don't expect to see too many of them. At least I don't anticipate there being too many of them. And I am also going to utilize the poll function in the chat. And there are going to be players that I am going to open up to you that are watching to give the grade. So we are going to have some of my grades. We're going to have some of your grades built into this. If you are watching the replay and you missed the live stream, I do this sometimes. I will let you, the viewer, BALLCAP Nation, make picks, make grades, do these kinds of things. It's not always just going to be me. So welcome everybody that is here with me live as we are going to be grading the free agent deals today. Michael Conforto's the big one that's still out there. We'll see where he goes. But with so many, with Trevor Story coming in over the weekend, Carlos Correa happening over the weekend, and everything that led up to that, I think we are good to go. We can start grading these deals. So let's get into it. I want to get right to this thing, and again, we're going to do these grades. Not everybody is going to be graded. I have about probably maybe 60 or 70 about that players that we're going to grade here. There are a ton of bullpen deals. We're going to be grading the probably, in my opinion, the main bullpen deals that went down. So all that we're going to get into again. So welcome in, everybody. How are you doing on a Monday? Let's go. Now, we will be doing, let me I guess preface this. These are the free agent deals. As far as team grades go, I'm eyeing that for Friday. I'm looking at that to be part of Friday's stream because there are still some good free agent deals that could happen. We could still have some very impactful trades. So I'm not ready to do the team grades overall. I think Friday maybe we should be ready to rock and roll with that. So this is going to be the free agent grades. Let's get started. And we're going to start with Brad Miller. We're going to build up to this. We're going to do Brad Miller. I am going to give you in the chat, as I talk about some of these other players, I'm going to give you in the chat the option to grade Josh Harrison to the White Sox. That is going to be the grade I'm going to be looking for you. Going to be looking for A, going to be looking for B, C, and D. If you want to put an F for Josh Harrison, you can. But we're going to go A, B, C, D. Josh Harrison, White Sox graded. We're going to get to that in just a couple minutes. That is going to be the grade that I'll be looking for from all of you. Remember to hit the like, everybody. All right, let's do this. Brad Miller to the Rangers. Ultimately, I like the deal. I think that Brad Miller to the Rangers, they needed to continue to lengthen the lineup. Trading Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Brad Miller can move around different places. I like what Brad Miller did with the Phillies last year. Now, certainly, everybody, if you want to give your Brad Miller grade, those of you that are live, I'm going to leave the live replay on, so you will be on record with some of these deals. So feel free to leave your grade, put the player name, and put the grade in there. For Brad Miller to the Braves, I am going to give it a B-. Again, like I said, A's are going to be tough. It's a good deal. But at the end of the day, sort of a move like this, a depth adding kind of move like we get with Brad Miller, just feels like we're probably going to, for most of those, live in the high C's and low B's. Colin Moran to the Reds is next. Colin Moran is a nice piece. The Reds gave up a lot. They just, I don't know, with the Winker trade and I don't know. I do. There is a player coming up in a minute that I like. Colin Moran to the Reds, though. 1 year, $1 million. Plenty of upside there. I'm going to give Colin Moran to the Reds a C+. Again, feel free, everybody that is in the chat, give your grade for any of these players. And we do have the poll up for Josh Harrison, because when we get to Josh Harrison, it is going to be based on you. Next up is Dan Vogelbach to the Pirates. They are certainly maybe looking for some upside here. Dan Vogelbach to the Pirates. I'm not sure how much he has left in the tank. We know that there's some upside here if Dan Vogelbach has a nice bounce back season. So I think we're going to go, again, low risk, high reward with Dan Vogelbach. We'll give it a C+. Now, Donovan Solano to the Reds, a 1 year, $4.5 million deal for Donovan Solano to the Reds. I am a fan of Donovan Solano. I felt like, I mean, he hits. That's the bottom line. He hits. I felt like anybody that picked him up was going to be getting a good player. It is one of the few moves that I think the Reds did right. We're just straight up B, not a B-. This is straight up B. Donovan Solano to the Reds. That's a good move. He can hit. Good stuff there. Smashville, thank you for subscribing. Welcome in. Welcome to the community. Next up, Matt Carpenter to the Rangers on a minor league deal. What does Matt Carpenter have left at this point in his career? Again, there's no real financial risk here, but we also don't know what he's going to do, what he's going to provide. So we'll give Matt Carpenter to the Texas Rangers a C-. I mean, we don't know what Matt Carpenter is really going to do. But again, no risk, so we can't give it a D because there's literally no risk. There's nothing tied to that. So there's little value. Marwin Gonzalez to the Yankees. Okay. Now, the interesting element here is all the rumors about Carlos Correa to the Yankees. They end up going Marwin Gonzalez on a minor league deal, invite to spring training. There's some intriguingness here because is Cashman sort of dipping his toe in the 2017 Astro pool to see how that goes over with the rest of, with the fan base and with the clubhouse? So I'm going to give Marwin Gonzalez to the Yankees a C. I think there is, again, there's no financial burden here. If he doesn't make the team, you could release him. You could put him on a minor league deal. If there is something good here, you'll see him. I think there's a chance that Marwin Gonzalez makes the big league club, but it's not a given. There's Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Gonzalez can play multiple positions, but with Kiner-Falefa, with Gleyber Torres, there's with DJ LeMahieu, as far as middle infield goes, it's kind of crowded, especially with Peraza not too far behind. Next up is Jonathan Villar to the Cubs. 1 year, $6 million. Now, Jonathan Villar ended up being a great addition to the Mets last year. What does he do for the Cubs? I understand he can play multiple positions, but the Cubs have a ton of infield depth, and I don't want Jonathan Villar to take opportunities or at-bats away from Madrigal or Horner or Wisdom. This move is a little perplexing to me. Depth, you can never have too much depth. So because it's depth, I'm going to give it a C. But I don't like that, again, I don't want, if Jonathan Villar gets hot, I don't care. I want Patrick Wisdom. I want Nick Madrigal. I want Nico Horner to struggle if they need to and get through that struggle and not worry about losing their spot to Jonathan Villar because Villar got hot for a week. So that's the only thing. Again, depth. That's why it's a C, not a D. All right, because of the depth. So I'm going to give Jonathan Villar to the Cubs a C here. Let's keep going. Hanser Alberto to the Dodgers. 1 year, $1.6 million. He is only going to play if there is a run of injuries. There are some minor league play. I don't want Alberto, similar to VR, I don't want him getting in the way of some of the Cubs young players. I don't want Alberto. There's some upside here, but I don't want him to really get in the way of some of the Dodgers younger players that we have seen. So I'm going to give Alberto to the Dodgers a C. Again, it's a depth move. You can't hate on it. And now we get to Josh Harrison. Josh Harrison is your vote. Now, to just try to give everybody a notice, give everybody a warning, we do have some lags when it comes here. So you might see the chat go away while I'm still talking about it, or vice versa. I might be talking, but that's why I'm giving you guys some time to put your votes in on here to see where we are. So far at this point, we have a B for Josh Harrison, and it looks like the B is going to win out. I will agree with you on that. We will end the poll for Josh Harrison here in just a second. I do agree with the B grade for Josh Harrison. White Sox fans, I think, had a higher bar for what the White Sox were going to do at that position. Looking for a bigger upgrade. But at the end of the day, Harrison is a nice move. I don't want to go B+. I don't want to go B-, but Harrison's a good player. He's a veteran. He's a fiery guy. I think White Sox fans are going to like Josh Harrison. We will do B for Josh Harrison. Let's get to slide 2. And let's give you guys the opportunity to vote on Corey Dickerson to the Cardinals. That will be your vote here, Corey. All right, so again, we will go A, B, C, D. All right, so you guys get to vote on Corey Dickerson to the Cardinals. It will be cemented forever on the board here. So get your votes in, as that poll will be out. If you don't see it now, you'll see it in a second, or maybe it's already been up for a few seconds. Get your vote in on Corey Dickerson to the Cardinals while we go through some of these top names. First up, Brock Holt to the Atlanta Braves. Brock Holt, certainly a depth play here. A good depth play, honestly, in my opinion, based on the Braves prospects. A lot of the Braves prospects are outfielders, and the infielders are not ready. And some of the infielders that we've seen, I don't know. I actually think this is a nice move for the Atlanta Braves with the depth, with the upside. I'm going to give Brock Holt to the Braves a C+. So let's move all these things around. Next up is Jose Iglesias to the Colorado Rockies. 1 year, $5 million for Iglesias to the Rockies. The defense is good. They have a situation, the Rockies do, where I really want them to let the players that they have play. And that's my only worry about Iglesias. We know Iglesias is a very nice defensive player with the bat. Outside of 2020, which, remember, 2020, I don't want Brendan Rodgers, Ryan McMahon, or Garrett Hampson to lose any playing time. I guess you slide Garrett Hampson to the outfield, but I don't know. I don't know if you do that now with Bryant. You could if Charlie Blackmon's your DH. So at the end of the day, Jose Iglesias, good defensive ad. I don't want him to. I still want to see if Garrett Hampson can be something, because I feel like Hampson is probably the shortstop. So let's see how that plays out. But anyway, at the end of the day, talking a lot about Jose Iglesias. Let's give Jose Iglesias to the Rockies a C+. It is a nice defensive addition. I'm not going to give it anything higher than that just because, again, like I said, I don't want him to take away. I want him to come in there and be a defensive sub. I want him to be an extra infielder. I don't want him taking any time away from Garrett Hampson. Right now on MLB.com, they have Jose Iglesias as shortstop 1, and I don't want that. That's the point. I don't want that. I still want to see what you got with Garrett Hampson. Nico Goodrum to the Astros. I guess Nico Goodrum might play a little bit more than we had a feeling. With Correa leaving, it looked like maybe Story could be the next option. You got Aldamis Diaz. They've got the prospect there. You've got Nico Goodrum. So at the end of the day, Nico Goodrum looks to be like a good add when they ultimately do not bring back Correa. So we will give the Astros, I don't know how much upside there is with Goodrum. So for that reason, we're going to hold with a C for Nico Goodrum. Let's get to Andrelton Simmons to the Cubs. Now, the Cubs signed VR. The Cubs signed Simmons. And what did I say about VR? I just don't want VR to take at bats away from Wisdom, from Horner, and from Madrigal. I want to see what we got there. Now, if somebody gets hurt, it's great backup. But again, we're sitting here with Andrelton Simmons. I am ultimately going to give the deal, Andrelton Simmons, I'm going to give it the same grade I gave Jonathan VR. I will give it a C. The bat has never really come around. Good in the field, but every year that goes by, he's going to regress a little bit in the field. But again, a C, a good depth move for the Cubs. Alex Dickerson is up, and then it is Corey Dickerson. So make sure you get your votes in on Corey Dickerson to the Cardinals. It was a 1-year, $5 million deal for Corey Dickerson. So that, again, is what you're voting on in the chat. Alex Dickerson to the Braves, a 1-year, $1 million deal. Alex Dickerson to start things. I mean, the Braves have made a lot of deals here. To start things out, Alex Dickerson could get some run until Ronald Acuna Jr. gets back. Right now on Fangraphs, Alex Dickerson is listed as the designated hitter for the Braves. And we'll see how that ends up playing out. But for that purpose, 1 year, $1 million, he's basically just going to be there until Acuna's back, and then he'll slide out of the equation. I will give Dickerson to the Braves a C+ for that purpose. Let's go C+ Dickerson. Let's get to Corey Dickerson. 1 year to the Cardinals. $5 million. You all have been voting in the chat for the grade for Corey Dickerson. I'm going to end that here in just a moment. But while we wind that down and you get your last couple votes in, we'll talk about the Dickerson piece to the Cardinals. Their situation, the Cardinals, is that they have gold gloves everywhere, right? And Dickerson sort of fits in as, at this point, a lefty bat, an additional piece. Fangraphs has him as the designated hitter. Cardinals fans, you might want to give this an F if you think that this at all in any way prevents a reunion for Albert Pujols, but it might. We will see. We're going to go with a B. That is your grade for the Corey Dickerson to the Cardinals. And again, I think that's a fair grade. There's the upside there. I love him as a baseball player. His presence in the box, a left-handed bat that the Cardinals, they've got switch hitters with Edman and Carlson. Dickerson is the left-handed bat. You got Nootbaar, but I think you probably feel a little bit more comfortable with Corey Dickerson. So gives them another lefty bat. In my opinion, I think you are in good shape if you can have three left-handed bats in the lineup, and Corey Dickerson, if he does in fact stick at DH, gives you that opportunity. So we'll see if they make any changes. But again, as of right now, Dickerson is the DH on Fangraphs. Let's get to Odubel Herrera for the Philadelphia Phillies. And it looked for a minute as if Odubel Herrera wouldn't be back. But now Odubel Herrera is going to slide in there to be the center fielder. At the end of the day, it's a good move because it wasn't expensive, didn't cost him much of anything. It sort of solidifies center, and it kept the money there for Schwarber and Castellanos. So ultimately, I think it's a fine signing. I will go with a C+. There's not much in terms of prospects coming up that he's going to be blocking. Stott is the bat prospect that is the closest, and he's a shortstop. So we have Herrera in there. Delino DeShields signed a minor league deal with the Miami Marlins. A depth move again. Not a whole lot to say about here. There is some upside. He's a speedy guy, can play a quality outfield, so we will give him just a straight up C. Because again, he may stay in the minors, but low risk here, medium reward. I don't know how high the reward is with the Shields, but we know he's speedy. We know he can be. He's a good player just in general. Travis Jankowski to the New York Mets. Another speed guy here. The Mets outfield. Jankowski. This could be a long shot, in my opinion, for him to make the roster. When you look at FanGraphs, the bench right now for the Mets, Dom Smith, J.D. Davis, Guillorme, and Nito. Jankowski, you may never see him. We're going to give it a C-. Haven't really given out any Ds yet. Wouldn't be fair to give out a D on a depth play. So we're going to go C- here for Jankowski. Depth move. You can't hate it. You can't love it. Brady, thank you for subscribing. Muddy Sock, thank you for subscribing. Welcome in, everybody. So we will go there with a C- for Travis Jankowski. Let's move on to 3 of 6, and I'm going to give you all the opportunity to grade. Let me get the poll ready to go. I'm going to give you all the opportunity to grade. Let's go with, what's one of the bigger deals? Let's go Danny Duffy, Dodgers. You guys will get that grade. The poll will be there in moments if it's not already there. So we go Anibal Sanchez for the Washington Nationals. And again, Washington adding some depth to that rotation. I think there's a very good chance Anibal Sanchez makes that roster. And we don't know how good he's going to be because he did not play last year. So I'm going to give it a B-. I think there is some good upside. I think he will make the roster. This is one of those minor league deals that I think you will, with high certainty, see that player make the roster. They need him. Strasburg, Corbin, Gray, and then who the hell knows is the situation for the Nats. Young Udai, thank you for subscribing. Brady, thank you for subscribing. Muddy, again, Brady and Muddy, thank you both for subscribing a minute ago. So they need him. He's going to fit into the 5. So I think you got to go with Anibal Sanchez. We'll go with a B- for Sanchez. Carlos Martinez to the Mets on a minor league deal. The Mets just scooped up a ton of arms coming out of, I guess throughout all of free agency, right? Before the lockout and after the lockout, San Francisco was very active. Carlos Martinez, you like him because he could start. He could also come out of the bullpen. The rotation right now for the Giants is Webb, Rodon, Descafani,
Is there any news
Wood,
about
and Cobb.
just getting Jose Ramirez?
Let me get that. Let me see that real quick. I can't. Hold on. I did not hear you. The Legend, thank you for the super chat. Is there any news about Jose Ramirez and the Jays? It's quiet. That front has sort of cooled down. There's not a lot happening right now on that. But certainly when there is more news on that, whether it's scouts following Blue Jay players around from the Guardians, whether it's more from Carlos Baerga, I'll be around to talk about it, either here or on Twitter. So nothing right now. So ultimately, Carlos Martinez for the San Francisco Giants is a nice move. Could put him in a couple different spots. I think there's some upside still here. I will go Carlos Martinez to the Giants. I will give it a C+. Can never have too many arms for that rotation. Again, because he's can do both, we'll go C+ over just a straight up C. He could fill a couple holes for the Giants throughout the year. Vince Velasquez went to the White Sox on a 1-year, $3 million deal. The White Sox that are in a situation where they didn't add another impact starter. So you think that the White Sox, maybe Velasquez ends up being the number 5, or they move somebody like Michael Kopech into the rotation finally. So Vincent Velasquez is similar to Martinez. I think Velasquez could come out of the bullpen. Velasquez could start. So if we're giving Carlos Martinez and the Giants a C+, I think we have to go C+ for Vince Velasquez as well. Being able to slide into multiple spots on that team will be important for them. Aaron Sanchez to the Washington Nationals. Minor league deal. Trying to get things back on track. Did well for San Francisco in limited time last year. I honestly don't know if we'll see him. We talked about how Sanchez fits in right away with that Washington rotation. Aaron Sanchez does not have that same upside where he immediately fits in with the Washington Nationals. So I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I feel like Aaron Sanchez is probably more of the C variety. Can he get back on track? Now, this next deal I really like. I really like this deal. Willie Peralta signing a minor league deal for the Tigers. Here's why I like this. The Tigers are in a situation where Spencer Turnbull is not going to be back until I think it's mid-year. So if Spencer Turnbull is not going to be back till the middle of the season, and you don't want to be in a spot where you got to burn. So again, Turnbull out to the year. You don't want to have to burn Alexander as a starter. They signed Pineda. We're going to talk about Pineda in a minute. Willie Peralta can fit both spots, and on top of it, Willie Peralta pitched really well last year. Willie Peralta was good in 2021 to the line of what was the ERA? The ERA 3.07. A minor league deal for Willie Peralta. I really like it. I'm going to give Willie Peralta a B. He was one of my sleeper players that were out there. Not going B+, that would be aggressive, but I will go with a B. Let's go with the Cubs, a couple more players, and then we will be getting to Danny Duffy. That is what you all are voting on in the poll. If he gets an A, B, C, or D for the Dodgers, we will get to that in just a minute. Let's get to Drew Smyly to the Cubs. 1 year, $5.25 million for the Cubs. Last year, Smyly was with the Braves. This year, it'll be with the Cubs. Certainly is going to fit into that rotation, you got to think. Right now on Fangraphs, we're looking at Stroman, Hicks, Miley, Mills, and Smyly as the 5. 1 year, $5.25 million. I think there is an opportunity for Drew Smyly to pitch well for the Cubs. It lengthened that. Albert Alzolay, who I don't believe is going to be ready for opening day. You're just in a spot now where you're a little more comfortable with that rotation. So with Smyly, how well he pitches, we will see. I'm going to give Smyly to the Cubs a B-. Going to give you some good innings. Going to prevent you from burning out the bullpen. Going to prevent you from trying to hurry somebody along that's not ready yet. So we'll go B-. Matthew Boyd to the Giants. When Matthew Boyd is actually ready to pitch is going to be, I guess, is the interesting situation here because he is not ready. I believe word was that Matthew Boyd would be ready. Is it mid-year? I'm trying to find this. Where was it? There was some news on Matthew Boyd. Matthew Boyd return date. Let's see if we've got that. Matthew Boyd is not going to be ready to start the year, but we will go Matthew Boyd, Giants, 1 year, $5.25 million. There's certainly some upside there. Last year, the K rate went down, but so did the ERA. So he started pitching. Things changed for Matthew Boyd last year. How much do they get out of him is going to be the question. So because we don't really know how much he's even going to pitch, I'm going to go C- on Matthew Boyd. All right, next up is Danny Duffy. Danny Duffy, 1 year, $3 million. That is the poll that you guys are voting on. So let's take a look and see where that stands right now as we sort of roll through here. Right now, Danny Duffy to the Dodgers is looking like a B. We'll talk about Danny Duffy for another minute, and then we will give the grade as I'll let you guys get a few more votes in. Duffy's element to the Dodgers here. Right now on Fangraphs, they have Buehler, Urias, Kershaw, Haney, and Tyler Anderson. Now, what's interesting is all of the lefties. With Anderson, with Haney, I really don't think Haney's going to last. I'm sorry, any Andrew Haney fans. I don't know if he's... I don't see the quick scoop by the Dodgers. He was compared to the Robbie Ray situation, but Robbie Ray actually pitched in Toronto the year before. Haney did not pitch in L.A. But right now the Dodgers have 4 lefties, and that does not include Danny Duffy. Most of you are going with the B, so I think that is how we are going to go. If it was on me, I would probably give it a... you know what? I would probably roll with you guys on that with the B. We're going to give it the B. He's got to slide in there over Andrew Haney as far as I am concerned. Tyler Anderson is a nice grab. A lot of lefties there for the Dodgers that could slide into the bullpen, or if they're pitching well, maybe when Dustin May is back and ready to go, he stays in the bullpen. Options, though, for the Dodgers there. Next up, it's Michael Pineda to the Detroit Tigers. We talked about Detroit and their situation with Turnbull out. Michael Pineda slides in there probably to that 3 or 4 spot in the rotation. A 1-year deal, $5.5 million. I don't think Michael Pineda gets the respect that he honestly probably deserves. I know that he's been up and down. I know he's had some really bad stretches, but he's also the pitcher that when your team is going up against him, you figure, here we go. This is going to be easy. We got this. And then next thing you know, he bothers your hitters all game long, and you end up losing somehow. Michael Pineda is that kind of guy. I like that he is in that Tigers rotation. There were a couple of teams that he made sense for down the stretch there. Detroit was one of them, and they are the team that gets him. I'm gonna go B, Michael Pineda to the Detroit Tigers. To the next page, number 4. I'm going to give you the opportunity. We're going to be doing bullpen arms. This is the reliever portion of the program. And again, I know there were a lot of relievers that signed. A lot. But I picked the top relievers, went on WAR, went on their position with the new team. Alex Colomé is on here. He's going to be the closer for the Rockies. So we have the relievers in here. Want to remind everybody to hit that like. Also, while we're here going through, 73 likes. We have 400 watching. I think we can get over 100. Make sure to hit that like if you have not yet to get us over 100 likes. I'm going to give you the opportunity to vote on Kenley Jansen. Poll is on its way. Again, if you don't already see it. So here we are. Alex Colomé to the Rockies. 1 year, $4.1 million for Colomé. I think it's a fair deal. They got their closer, essentially, with this deal. Now, how good will he play is the other question. I don't know if we are totally on board with the kind of Alex Colomé that we're going to get this year with the Twins. I mean, listen, he was supposed to be one of those nice Twins signings, and he wasn't. 4.15 ERA, 1.4 WHIP last year. After a nice year in 2020 with the White Sox, 2019 was a nice year. He was the closer for the White Sox. It just didn't work out. So but again, it's $4 million. It's a 1-year deal. He's going to be the closer. I'm going to give it a C+. I don't love it that much. I don't hate it either. I'm really close to a B-, but I'm going to go with the C+. Archie Bradley with the Angels. Do I have him with the Cubs? If I got that wrong, then I appreciate you for. I probably was looking on the wrong. I was probably looking at the wrong line when I was putting this together. Let's see. You are 1,000% right. The good news is we can fix that relatively easily because we've got Ryan Tepera with the Angels. So let's correct that. Thank you for that. I have a feeling I was just looking at the wrong line. So thank you for that. All right. Let me make sure I got the dollar amount right then too. If I was looking at the wrong line when I picked that. No, still 3.75. So we got the dollar amount right. All right. Again, thank you for that. So Adam Ottavino is next. 1 year, $4 million. Mets bolstering their bullpen. You can't really hate on that deal. Adam Ottavino, I think he will be an important part of that Mets bullpen as the season goes on. Could be a late inning guy. I like Ottavino to the Mets. I'm going to give it 1 year, $4 million. I'm going to give it a B-. Next up, Joe Kelly to the White Sox. Again, we talked about it earlier that the White Sox probably moving Kopech into the rotation. So the bullpen now with the White Sox needed an addition. I was hoping Kelly would end up back with Boston or maybe even LA, but he goes to the White Sox. It's a nice arm. I like that one as well. I'm going to go Joe Kelly to the White Sox. I'm going to give that also a B-. Next up, Archie Bradley to the Angels. Get that right. 1 year, $3.75 million. I really like what the Angels ended up doing this year with their bullpen. I do not like at all what they did with the rotation, but I like what they did with the bullpen. And they're going to need, a good bullpen. And they have put that together. We'll talk about Tepera in a minute, adding Aaron Loup before the lockout, re-signing Raisel Iglesias, bringing in Archie Bradley. I think there's some good pieces there. Now, Archie Bradley, he's been up and down, like all of us. Well, he has been up and down. Last year, a 3.71 ERA with the Phillies. I think that, again, ultimately I'm happy with what the Angels did. I think it's a smart move from a team aspect. If the rotation is not a strong suit, the bullpen better be. And Archie Bradley was a good move for the Angels there. Next up, Brad Hand to the Phillies, a 1 year, $6 million deal. Quite frankly, I'm surprised that he didn't go back to the Mets. I felt that after last year, the way it went for Brad Hand, to not go back to the team where he played the best. He pitched best with the Mets last year, and the Mets kind of needed him. They end up, the only lefty that they have in the bullpen right now, the Mets, is Chasen Shreve, and I like Shreve, but you kind of want to have more than just one. Anyway, he goes to the Phillies. I think maybe the Mets, gotten their own way on this. You've got Alvarado, and you've got Hand now in that bullpen. I don't know how good Hand is going to be. That is my only worry on that. So Brad Hand to the Phillies, 1 year, $6 million. Again, I really don't. I'm going to count on you guys. Help me with this one. B-, B. Drew's Mets, you have it as an A. Andrew, C+. Gavin, you have Bradley as an A. You know, it's a good deal. It's a good deal. Phillies pen going to be a mess to watch. Well, it usually is. I am not a fan of Brad Hand because when Brad Hand came to the Blue Jays, he cost us some games. at least 1 or 2, and the Blue Jays missed the playoffs by 1 game. It's not fair to put it all on Brad Hand because other bullpen arms for the Blue Jays cost them games. And so, again, we're not going to throw it all on Brad Hand. I'm going to go, I see some B's and C pluses. I'm going to go, they needed the lefty arm, okay? They needed the lefty arm. I'm going to go C plus. I will go C plus for Brad Hand. I don't want to kill it. It does fill a need. It could work out. We'll be optimistic with Brad Hand, and we'll give him a C plus. Andrew Chafin to the Tigers is next up. 2 years, $13 million. Maybe the best lefty that was available in the out of the bullpen with this market. Soto, you got Soto as a lefty. You got Chafin as a lefty. Now Tyler Alexander. So 3 good left-handed pitchers coming out of that Tigers bullpen. So then the question is, did they really need him? But at the end of the day, Soto's probably closing, so you won't have him at high leverage situations. And Tyler Alexander sometimes is asked to stretch out and pitch multiple innings. Chafin is a nice piece. This Tigers team, after signing the Baez deal, after signing Eduardo Rodriguez, they needed to be smart with their money. They did that with the Peralta deal. They did that with the Pineda deal, and they did that here. Andrew Chafin to the Tigers, I'm going to give it a B+. Again, like I said, A's are going to be hard to come by from me. You guys can throw an A when you have the opportunity for some votes. But I'm going to go B+ for Andrew Chafin. I do like the deal. I like that. I'm going B+. Now, here we go. Now it's going to get interesting. We're at the best part of the relievers section here. Colin McHugh to the Braves, a 2-year, $10 million deal. Colin McHugh put up some of the best numbers out of the bullpen, period. And he was on, so obviously he was one of the best arms that was available. How he fits in now with that Braves bullpen, along with Will Smith and Kenley Jansen and Tyler Matzik and Luke Jackson and Tyler Thornburg, who we're not getting to Tyler Thornburg here. Again, just picking sort of the top relievers. It's something here. Colin McHugh to the Braves is a great signing. A great signing. Again, I see a lot of A's. $5 million. I mean, again, Colin McHugh is such a good pitcher. All right, I'm going to do it. It's the first A, but it's going to be an A-. Okay, it's not straight up. It's going to be, this is the first A of the day, and it is an A-. Colin McHugh to the Braves. I mean, he's so good. He really is good. He's not costing a lot of money, just $5 million a year on average. I love this move. Anybody that got Colin McHugh was going to get either a B+ or an A-, and it just so happens it's the Braves with Colin McHugh. Ryan Tepera is next, and I really like this deal too. 2 years, $14 million for Ryan Tepera. The other element to this, we might have back-to-back A's. Oh, boy. And depending on what you guys are doing on the poll, I have not checked the poll. Right now, you guys have looks like it is, well, we might have 3 straight A's. Here's what I like about Ryan Tepera. He's a really good pitcher. Again, another one of the best arms that was available. And I felt that he could go somewhere and close. But the fact that he got a 2-year deal from the Angels, if it all goes south for the Angels this year, Ryan Tepera could have trade value on a 2-year deal, because whoever's getting him knows that's not just for this stretch run, it is also for next year. So because of the quality pitcher that he is, because that there is trade value there, this is also going to get an A- from me. I'm going to go A- on Tepera for those 2 elements alone. Angels, again, they did not strengthen the rotation enough for me, but they did a wonderful job with the bullpen. Again, Loop before the lockout, and then Bradley and Tepera, so I really like it. And then Kenley Jansen, that is all on you. That is the poll that is out there now, and I don't think we're going to have a shot to get the B to catch the A. So we will wind up, we'll talk about it for a minute while we wrap up the poll. But Kenley Jansen is going to get an A from you, the chat, the nation. Thank you for that again. A for Kenley Jansen, and I cannot really argue with that. Kenley Jansen sort of revamped everything last year. His career went through a rebirth with everything. He's certainly going to close. Will Smith now probably still gets some save opportunities, but listen, when we saw how, I mean, we always knew, we came into this knowing that the bullpens are huge, especially the playoffs, right? And the Braves, think about it, that bullpen, you could argue, almost carried them to the World Series. I understand there were some really good performances from Rosario and Soler okay. But the fact of the matter is, once you got to the Braves bullpen, it felt like it was over if they were winning. And if it was losing, it was the only thing that was going to keep them in it. So that bullpen was huge, and they got better. Adding McHugh, adding Jansen. So the Braves are geared up now. The Braves are geared up. Kenley Jansen's a great deal. Let's get to the next slide. We have 2 more to do. We are on 5 of 6, and it's starting to get interesting here. We're going to start to see some of the bigger names. I'm going to give you the opportunity to vote on... Let's give you the opportunity to vote on... I'm going to start letting you guys get more votes in here. We're going to go Andrew McCutchen here. We're going to do one early, and then I'm also going to give you one late. I think there's enough time to do that. Andrew McCutchen to Milwaukee. And we'll let you guys vote on this. All right. Poll is out for Andrew McCutchen. So we'll get to that in a minute. You guys get your votes in for Andrew McCutchen. A, B, C, or D for the Brewers. Nelson Cruz. Now, I want to highlight this. You see the asterisk? We're going to get into more of that now. The asterisk next to the dollar figure means that there are options in the deal that can alter this. It could be less if it's a mutual option. If the Nats decide they're done, it's a 1-year deal. Anthony Rizzo has options. I mean, the Eddie Rosario, the 3rd year is a team, all that. So just know that with the asterisks, that is an indication that there are options, and it is not straight up 2 for 28 or 2 for 32 or 3 for 27. There's more to it than that. Carlos, thank you for subscribing. Spavy, thank you for subscribing. Jeff, thank you for subscribing. Unconscious, thank you for subscribing. Again, welcome in, everybody. Make sure to subscribe. Stay close to the channel. This week is all about grading deals. Make sure to hit the like as well. We did get over 100. We are at 101. If you haven't used your like yet, as we're pushing 500 in the chat, make sure to use your like. It helps promote the video. It's a great way to show your support. So you hit that like if you haven't. Want to see how close to 150 we could get. Can we get to 150 in the next minute or two while we grade out these deals? Again, a programming note, we will be getting into division previews. We will be getting into season and division previews starting tomorrow. Tomorrow's live stream, we will be getting into the American League East. I think we're going to do the AL East starting tomorrow. We're going to look at all 5 teams. We're going to do a whole thing. We're going to end up predicting out how the division falls. We're really going to dive into the season that's right around the corner starting tomorrow. So make sure you just sort of set that reminder, 11 a.m., right back here. So here we go. Nelson Cruz, 2 years, potentially, for $28 million for the Washington Nationals. Now, there are the options there, so it might not be a 2-year deal. When the deal first went down, I was excited thinking that, man, even if the Nats are terrible, there's some value here because they could trade him, but it's a mutual option. So wherever he goes, he could decide, I don't want to be here. So, that option thing kind of throws a damper on it. But at the end of the day, the Nats are trying. I give them credit as they want to compete. How well will they compete against the Mets and the Phillies and the Braves is to be seen. I don't know if it's going to be that well, but I think the Nelson Cruz deal made Juan Soto happy, so you got to give him credit for that. And again, now the middle of that lineup with Soto and Cruz and Bell starts to look a little better. Again, maybe there's trade value there. If he goes somewhere that he likes, the next year is sort of already set up. But I will give this deal for Cruz to the Washington Nationals, I will give it a I will give it a B. I like what they do here with this. Next up, the Yankees. 2 years, Anthony Rizzo. Again, highlighting that the Anthony Rizzo contract, there are options in there for Anthony Rizzo. He has an opt-out after the first year. I believe he has an opt-out after a couple of years. Let me double check that. 2-year deal. Did I say 3? I said 2. He has the player option for 2023 that so he could bail. Anthony Rizzo for the Yankees. I don't think many Yankee fans liked this happening, but I think you're going to be happy about how this all plays out. I'm going to give Anthony Rizzo to the Yankees. I'm going to give that a B. Not a B minus. I'm going to give it a B. I feel like you got your lefty bat, veteran leadership. You still got a guy that could hit 30 home runs. There's 800 plus OPS. There's something good here. And because it is, there's the player option, he might be back, he might not, but at the end of the day, you didn't lock into any kind of deals that would prevent you from re-signing Aaron Judge, and I think that is one of the important takeaways here. Again, Rizzo probably felt like a consolation prize. He's not that old, people. He's in his early 30s. He's not that old. There are still productive years left for Anthony Rizzo. All right, let's keep going here. 136 likes. We are only 14 away from 150. Make sure to hit that like. Get us up to 150 if you have not used your like. We're going to move on to Eddie Rosario, and then we're going to get to McCutchen. McCutchen is your vote. Eddie Rosario, it was a 2-year deal, a 3-year deal, $27 million. That is if the option is taken at the end. It is a 2-year deal without the option, but I got to think that, listen, if he's playing well, that option could get picked up. The option is a team option, not a player option. So, again, if he's playing well, they could have a steal there in 2024 when that option comes around. But just $9 million for your NLCS hero. I really like this deal. It's not an A. It's not an A because we also saw Eddie Rosario go into the tank the first half of the year. But he was great when he was there. I'm going to give it a B+. I will give Eddie Rosario a B+. The contract, the dollars are good. The fact that you've got the option there, if he is playing out of his mind, if the value is there, it's only $9 million that final year. Again, this is just his age 30 season, so you're buying out basically the last part of those peak age years. It's a B+ for me, just because again we have seen him go down. A's are going to be hard to come by, so we get a B+ here for Rosario. Let's see. Again, everybody, thank you for hitting the like. Over 150 now. I appreciate that. Thank you. Now it's time for McCutchen, and this is your vote. So we're going to take a look at the McCutchen deal going to the Brewers. From a perspective for the Brewers, we were maybe hoping they were going to do more. Matt, thank you for subscribing. Houston Hutt, thank you for subscribing. Justin and James and Carlos, all thank you for subscribing in the last couple minutes. We're going to end the poll. Andrew McCutchen to the Brewers is your vote, and you are giving it a B. McCutchen to the Brewers. McCutchen quietly had a nice year last year for the Phillies. At the end of the day, my question is, I honestly, guys, if I was voting, I probably would have given this a C+, but it's not my vote. That vote is your vote. I would have given it a C+, just because I don't want Andrew McCutchen. Right now on Fangraphs, McCutchen is hitting behind Yelich. Are we cool with that? Christian Yelich needs the best protection he could possibly have coming off of 2 bad years. So, Baseball Collector, thank you for subscribing. So, again, quietly had a good year last year, 24 home runs, a .424 slugging. But, and on-base percentage, 100 points higher than the batting average. That's something that I look for. I really like that. But the problem is the batting average was .233. So how does he do? We'll see. Andrew McCutchen, it is, again, a 1-year deal. So if he does well, great. You didn't spend that much money. And if he doesn't do well, you move on. I think if we had a 2-year deal here, definitely a C. All right, I'm going to give you guys the opportunity again. I want to give you more opportunities to vote. I'm going to give you the opportunity to vote on Zack Greinke to the Royals. So let me get that up here. Going back where it all started. And you guys get to vote as I get the poll together and out for you. We'll be there any minute, any second if it's not already there. So let's go back, though, to Jock Peterson. Jock Peterson, a 1-year, $6 million deal to go to the San Francisco Giants. Dodger fans, maybe a little heartbroken by the news to see Jock, once wearing Dodger blue, now going to be in a Giants uniform. But in terms of the dollars here, we know that he's a streaky player. He's probably going to be the designated hitter when it's not a lefty, okay? When it's with the dollars on it, that's going to work. That's going to be fine. So he could be DH. You can move him in the outfield if they have injuries. I mean, listen, the bench right now for the Giants with Peterson at DH is Slater, Flores, and Ruff. They're going to play. So when you have a lefty, Peterson probably sits, Duggar probably sits, and they move Slater and Ruff in there. So they have a ton of flexibility still with this lineup. Giants with right now, if you look at their lineup on Fangraphs, 7 lefties. So when they're facing a righty, they're going to be loaded up, stocked up on lefty bats. Ultimately, I like this deal. Jock Peterson to the Giants. Now, because we know sometimes it can go south for Jock Peterson, I'm going to hold with a B. He can be really good. He can be. But he can also make you cringe. I'm going to go B. I'm close to a B+, but I'm going to settle in with a B because I've seen those Jock Peterson cold streaks. And for that, we'll hold with the B. It's a good deal. Don't get me wrong. Jorge Soler got his deal to go to the Miami Marlins. That broke over the weekend. Potentially a 3-year deal worth $36 million. The sticking point here, not sticking point, but the added element to the Jorge Soler deal is that year 2 is a $15 million player option, and year 3 is a $9 million player option. I got to think year 2 he probably locks that in, but might not lock that 3rd year in. If he does, again, stay for all 3 years, it would be 3 for $36. Soler last year with Atlanta was just on fire. Miami needed to add another outfield bat, so I like what they're doing here. A team that is very public about some of the financial troubles that they're having. Soler now slides in. Does he DH? Does he play the outfield? He's going to be a good part of that lineup. I like the... Let's move that Zack Greinke out of the way. I need to move something. There we go. I like Soler to Miami. I am going to give it a B. With all those player options, if he is really good, he'll opt out. I almost would like them to have some control over him for that 2nd year, but they don't. So for that element, instead of going B+, I will go B. The Blue Jays are up next with Yusei Kikuchi. Coming in a 3-year, $36 million deal, $16 million the first year, and then $10 the year 2, year 3. Gave them their number 5 starter. He can pitch up to a 3, in my opinion. The rotation depth is important here. I'm going to give it a B-. I'm going to give it a B-. I like the deal. It's not an A. I don't think it's a straight up B. I'm going to give it a B-. He's the number 5 starter. I'm not going to crush it because I don't think he got overpaid. I think he got paid a fair amount. Ultimately giving the Blue Jays some depth. I like the B. The B-. So we go B- there. Tyler Anderson to the Dodgers is next. 1 year, $8 million for Anderson. Certainly, you have to think he fits into that rotation now. We talked about Danny Duffy earlier, and right now Danny Duffy looks like he might be on the outside looking in, unless the Dodgers say, scrap the whole Andrew Haney thing. But you want to go into the season, into spring training, with extra options for your rotation. You don't want to go into spring training with 5 starters. You need to go into spring training with 6, 7, 8 starters and let them compete and form your rotation that way. So the Dodgers are certainly doing that. After it looked like they were going to be thin at rotation, they really beefed it up the last few days, adding in Anderson, adding in Danny Duffy. So, but at the same time, Tyler Anderson, ERA of 4 kind of guy. Listen, it's important that they got him in there. I'm not going to go crazy with this. I'm going to give it a C+. And the fact of the reason of it is, yes, he's a good arm. Yes, there's probably still something good that we'll see out of there. But Tyler Anderson just keeps on, for me, under-delivering. Last year with the Mariners going to Seattle, the pennant race that was happening in Seattle, a 4.81 ERA. I mean, come on. If you can't get up for it at that point, when are you going to get going? Hasn't pitched to an ERA below 4 since 2016. That was a 3.54 ERA. So there's just something something seems amiss. But at the end of the day, the Dodgers needed the rotation depth, and again, we can't crush it. It's a 1-year deal, $8 million, so we give it a C+. Zack Greinke, this is your grade. We're going to wind down the poll. What's up, Moose? We're going to wind down the poll here. It looks like you guys are leaning towards a B for Zack Greinke. While we wind the poll down, to kind of take a look at the situation for Kansas City and how Greinke fits in. The $13 million kind of surprised me. That kind of surprised me. Fangraphs has Greinke as the number 1, with Keller, Singer, Bubic, and Hernandez going 2, 3, 4, 5. SP1 for Zack Greinke. That's interesting. If Zack Greinke is your SP1, what does that say? That's the first I've looked at that. But again, this is your grade. Let's we will wind down the poll. You guys are going to give it a B. Let's get it up there. Zack Greinke for Kansas City. He is their 1. I'm surprised that he went back to Kansas City. If Kansas City's not doing well, you got to think maybe Zack Greinke could end up being traded at some point and add depth. But 1 year, $13 million. Zack Greinke currently looks like could be their number 1, will be their opening day starter. At the very least, it's a nice feel-good story for Kansas City. This is probably Zack Greinke's final year, I would guess. Could be wrong on that. But if it is, to start opening day, back where it all began, that would be a good story for Zack Greinke and the Kansas City Royals. All right, we are going to the final page, slide 6 of 6. All of the big names from this last stretch are here. And I'm going to give you the opportunity to vote on Nick Castellanos, Phillies. The 5-year, $100 million deal for Philadelphia. I think now we'll probably see some more A's. We're going to give you the vote for Castellanos, and then we will come back, give you the vote for at least 1 more, maybe 2 more. I might give you guys some more voting power on this one. So we start with Clayton Kershaw. 1 year, $17 million to go back to LA. They needed him more than he needed them, maybe. With the way we don't know what's going to happen with Trevor Bauer, the whole situation. Kershaw right now fits in as the number 3. I think you'll get a good year out of Clayton Kershaw. And again, Clayton Kershaw 1 year, $17 million to the Dodgers. Zack Greinke got 1 year, $13 million. I think there's more upside with Clayton Kershaw with the Dodgers. So I like the move. I'm going to give it a B+. Clayton Kershaw back to the Dodgers, 1 year, $17 million. Next up, Carlos Rodon to the Giants. Dodger fans, you might get upset with me about this. I really like this deal. I like this deal because the Giants did not lock into a 5-year deal for a guy that maybe is going to have some injury issues. The Giants upgrade their rotation. They replaced the Kevin Gausman production potentially. Again, Rodon has to stay healthy, get through the year, but you replaced the production that you were getting out of Kevin Gausman. I like it a lot. For me, Rodon is an A-. Now, if he goes out there and he's healthy all year long, he'll be a free agent. If he passes a certain threshold with his innings, he can walk. He can be a free agent. It is if he does not surpass the threshold that he will be locked in for a second year. I give it an A-. The Giants, in an attempt to stay competitive with the Dodgers, they went out there. I don't think many people saw this coming. I didn't, because I thought it was going to be a longer deal. Carlos Rodon right now is the number 2 with the Giants. They found a way to be financially conservative with Carlos Rodon, so I'll give it an A-. All right, next up, it is Seiya Suzuki. 5 years, $85 million to the Chicago Cubs. I am a fan of Suzuki. I think there is some good baseball coming, but we don't know that for sure, right? The players that have come over from overseas that have done well, they've been the lefty hitters, the lefty bats, right? Ichiro did well. Hideki Matsui did well. We haven't really seen a righty bat come over and do well. And again, primarily, the hitters have not performed. So Seiya Suzuki, is he the first one to break through? Ultimately, didn't cost a lot of money. It did not cost a lot of money for the Cubs. Now, there's the posting fee on top of it. But with the upside, the value, the upside, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying $85 million, 5 years is a lot of money, but comparatively speaking to some of the other deals and similar upside, Seiya Suzuki was a good deal. I like it for the Cubs. They're going in the right direction. We're going to give Seiya Suzuki to the Cubs. Is this going to be the first straight up A? Or do we want to go A-? I'm going to go A-. A- because of the uncertainty. But I really like the deal. A-. That minus is attached just because there's some uncertainty there. Now we are at Nick Castellanos. And again, this is your vote. So we are going to wind down the poll here in a minute. Let me check and see the results so far. I'll give you another minute to talk about Castellanos. Castellanos an A at this point, and it looks like A is how it's going to go. A great deal for the Phillies. I agree with you 100% on that. Everybody in the chat, Nick Castellanos at A. I agree 100%. And I think it's a straight up A. I do not think it's an A- at all. I think this is a full go A for Nick Castellanos. I'm also going to give you the opportunity to vote on Carlos Correa. Let's get that going. And I want to remind everybody to hit the like. We have 186 likes, so we're only 14 likes away, almost 500 in the chat. So make sure to hit that like. Push us over 200 if you haven't used your like yet. Just 14 likes away, and I'm going to give you the Carlos Correa vote, the Carlos Correa grade, and that is coming your way in just a minute. So, but before we get to Carlos Correa, Kyle Schwarber, 4 years, $79 million. I don't even know. The Schwarber and the Castellanos moves for the Phillies were so good. They were so great. I am going to give an A for Kyle Schwarber. No A-, a straight up A for Kyle Schwarber. I really like this. I like these two moves. These are just smart moves. Righty pop, lefty pop, paired with the MVP from last year. Just a great job by the Philadelphia Phillies. And again, I'm a big, if you haven't been here before, I'm a big Kyle Schwarber fan. I love the bounce back. I love it. Just everything about it. I was really hoping the Blue Jays would get him. Kyle Schwarber is going to be a monster in that lineup. You're going to love him, Philly fans, if you don't already. I really enjoy this Kyle Schwarber deal to the Phillies. So that is that deal. Next up, it's Chris Bryant. All right, here we go. Now we are 1 like away from 200. Make sure to hit that like. Get us over 200, everybody. Here we go. Kris Bryant. This is where how are we grading this? Are we grading this from Kris Bryant's perspective and the bag that he got? Are we grading this from the Rockies' perspective? How do we grade the Kris Bryant deal? 7 years, $182 million. Does it make the Rockies a better team than if the Rockies did not have him? Yes, no doubt about it. Does it make the Rockies a competitor? That is the question. Does it make them a competitor? And that I don't know. We need to see a step forward from Brendan Rodgers and from Garrett Hampson. We need Sam Hilliard to finally hit. We need Tapia. We need a step forward from there. There's a lot here that I question with this Kris Bryant deal. So for that, I cannot give it an A. I just can't. But I'm also not going to kill it. I'm not going to kill this deal because Rockies fans, you get excited about that. This could be a first step in a multi-step process. There could be a trade that they could still pull off before the season starts. They could make a big signing next year. They better, because otherwise this was a waste of time. Again, just go be bad for a couple of years, trade your best pieces away, and get prospects back. Zachary, thank you for subscribing. I mean, that's the issue. This Kris Bryant contract might be untradeable as well. I'm going to give it a B. Again, I'm not going to crush it. I'm going to give it a B. It is going to be the lowest grade on this board. Of these final, of the biggest deals that went down, it is going to get the lowest grade just because does it prevent the Rockies from making more moves down the road? How much more money do the Rockies have? All that, we don't really have the answer to. We will find out over time. Time will tell. But I'm going to give this deal a B for Kris Bryant. Next up, it is Trevor Story to the Boston Red Sox. This could turn into a 7-year, $160 million contract. Could. There are some options. There's a player option for Story. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Could turn into a 7 for 160. It's 6 for 140 up front. This is a great move for the Red Sox. Especially when you think about the fact that the Yankees were also looking at Trevor Story. So you take him away from the New York Yankees. That's a great move. You convince him to take second base, at least for this year. Maybe moving forward. You know, Xander Bogaerts and Trevor, there's a love fest going on right now with Trevor Story and the Braves, and the Red Sox, and the Red Sox and Trevor Story. Absolutely, everybody's in love with everybody right now. If that continues, and Trevor Story's happy playing second base, happy playing with Xander Bogaerts, maybe the Red Sox bring Bogaerts back with the money that JD Martinez is going to free up, letting him walk at the end of the year. Trevor Story, maybe it's Story and Bogaerts for the next 5-6 years in Boston. So it's a good deal for the Red Sox. He was the last free agent out there. You take him from the Yankees. Upside there, it's the splits are there, but the transition to Fenway Park should be nice for Trevor Story. So all in all, this is a really good move, and I am going to give it an A. Question is, do we go A or do we go A minus? You're going to watch me process for a second. Is it A or is it an A minus? You take him from the Yankees. They convinced him to take he does have an option in there, but it wasn't a 1 or a 2 year deal. You have him for a few years. You could slide him to shortstop, especially if Bogaerts does walk. So you have an insurance policy there. So for that reason, we're going to go A. We will hold with an A for Trevor Story. All right, Carlos Correa is up next, and I gave you the voting power for Carlos Correa. This is what I'll say with Carlos Correa as we let some final votes come in. Here's the thing. With Correa, there are teams that were in the Carlos Correa mix that didn't need Carlos Correa to get to the postseason. They were a lock. They would have been a playoff team without him. And then there were some teams that need Carlos Correa to get to the playoffs. And the Twins are one of the teams that needs Carlos Correa to get to the postseason. And the only thing I caution everybody here is that this, number one, this could be a 1-year deal. He could opt out after 1 year. Number two, he has injury histories. He has a back history. So with all of that, it's interesting to me. You guys are giving it an A. Perfectly fine. That is your vote. Like I said, BALLCAP Nation, I'm giving you votes here. I'm also going to give you the Freddie Freeman vote as well. I'm going to let you guys vote on that. Actually, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to work together on Freddie Freeman because I have a feeling I know what it's going to be. We're going to work together on Freddie Freeman. Let's do this. So we're going A on Correa. That is your vote. Let me type. That's an important attribute to have here. I mean, really, I'll be shocked if this goes below. I feel like this is basically an A plus, an A minus, or a B. I can't imagine anybody goes in any other direction on this. So those are going to be the options for Freddie Freeman. And I'll let you in while I finish the thought on Carlos Correa. Again, we're going to go A. If I was on this, I would go A minus just because of the fact that it could be a one-year deal. They were unable to lock him up for multiple years. And on top of it, the injuries that have been there for half of the seasons he has played. He has missed considerable time. And if he misses considerable time this year, the Twins might miss the playoffs. They need him to get into the playoffs. And if he turns into, if he does have injury problems this year, he will most certainly pick up his option for next year. And you're going to end up having a problem where you have injured Carlos Correa. Let's hope that doesn't happen for the Twins' sake and for Correa's sake and for baseball's sake. But you can just see some of the bad paths that could go down that ultimately would have led me to go A minus. But I gave you guys the vote on Carlos Correa. You guys went A. That is fine. That is the way we go. Now we get to Freddie Freeman. 6 years, $162 million is the deal. Straight up, 162. There are no options there. We know the deferred money situation. We know if he gets traded, that the deferred money is voided out there. So for that purpose, some of you might want to go B. But for the Dodgers' sake, this is a big win for the Dodgers. I put out the video about Freeman and the agent and the process and the whole thing. At the end of the day, I don't think the Dodgers did anything wrong. I think the Dodgers got a great player. I think it's going to be great to watch Freddie Freeman on the Dodgers, and I'm looking forward to that. I just don't like how the agent handled things. Boom, done. That's all I'm going to say. So Freddie Freeman, Dodgers, 6 years, $162 million. Right now, we are leaning towards an A plus. This would be the only A plus. So get your votes in. We'll let the voting continue for another minute or two. Again, A plus seems to be running away with it, with B shortly behind it, and then A and A minus falling behind there. Again, 6 for 162. That lineup is going to be just ridiculous. They spent the money. They got the player. They replaced the lefty production that they were going to lose with Seager going to the Rangers. They replaced that with Freddie Freeman. That's a big win. They get out ahead of a potential issue if Trey Turner does not lock in and re-sign. Again, the players that they have right now, if they are unable to re-sign Trey Turner, and if they don't pick up the option on Justin Turner walks, you have an infield next year that would go. You would have Freeman, Lux, Chris Taylor, and Max Muncy. And that's a good infield. They got ahead of a potential problem. It does look like it's going to go A+, so we are going to wind down the poll. Again, it may have, depending on the lag, the poll may already be gone. The poll may still be up. But we are going to go A+, Freddie Freeman to the Dodgers. It is the only A+ that we give out. Let's do a recap for anybody that has not been here since the beginning, wondering where we all started. We're going to do a quick recap for all of you. Thank you, everybody, for participating and voting. I do appreciate that. Let's go. Quick recap. We'll go all the way back. We had Brad Miller, B-, Colin Moran, C+. Let me give you the teams. Brad Miller, Texas, B-. Colin Moran, Reds, C+. Dan Vogelback, Pittsburgh, C+. Donovan Solano, Cincinnati, B. Matt Carpenter to the Rangers, C-. Marwin Gonzalez to the Yankees, C. Jonathan VR to the Cubs, C. Hanser Alberto to the Dodgers, C. Josh Harrison to the White Sox, that was your vote, and that was a B. Now, if you're listening to this and you're like, well, wait a minute, why the hell is why is that not an A? Why is that not a B? Why? You'll have to hop back and go back, because we did run through explanations for all of this. Let's go to the next page. Brock Holt, C+. Jose Iglesias, C+. Nico Goodrum, C. Andrelton Simmons, C. Alex Dickerson, Braves, C+. Corey Dickerson, Cardinals, B. That was your vote. Odubel Herrera, Phillies, C+. Delino DeShields Jr., Marlins, C. Travis Jankowski, Mets, C-. Then we have, let me check something real quick. Okay. Then we had page 3. Anibal Sanchez to the Nats, B-. Carlos Martinez to the Giants, C+. Vince Velasquez to the White Sox, C+. Aaron Sanchez to the Nats, C. Willie Peralta to the Tigers, B. Drew Smyly to the Cubs, B-. Matthew Boyd to San Francisco, C-. Danny Duffy to the Dodgers, B. That was your vote. Michael Pineda, B. to the Tigers. Then we had the relievers. Alex Colomé to the Rockies, C+. Adam Ottavino to the Mets, B-. Joe Kelly to the White Sox, B-. Archie Bradley to the Angels, B. Brad Hand to the Phillies, C+. Andrew Chafin to the Tigers, B+. Colin McHugh to the Braves, A-. Ryan Tepera to the Angels, A-. And Kenley Jansen, A. Those were the first A's, those 3 relievers. Then things started to pick up. Nelson Cruz to the Nats, B. Anthony Rizzo to the Yankees, B. Eddie Rosario to the Braves, B+. Andrew McCutchen, your vote, to the Brewers, B. Jock Peterson to San Francisco, B. Jorge Soler to Miami, B. Yusei Kikuchi to Toronto, B-. Tyler Anderson to the Dodgers, C+. Zack Greinke, another your vote, B. And then the final page, Clayton Kershaw, B+. Carlos Rodon, A- to the Giants. Seiya Suzuki to the Cubs, A-. Nick Castellanos, your vote, an A. Kyle Schwarber to the Phillies, A. Chris Bryant to the Rockies, B. Trevor Story to the Red Sox, A. Carlos Correa, your vote, an A. And Freddie Freeman to the Dodgers, your vote, A+. This was a wild frenzy, right? I think we could all agree on that. What happens next? We still need to know what happens with Michael Conforto. We still need to see what goes down with all of the trades, because that is now where teams can improve their rosters the most, is in the trade market. We could see Manaea get moved this week. We could see Montas get moved this week. I mean, in the end, that's why today we're grading the free agent deals. We will, I hope, be able to, on Friday in the live stream, grade how the teams performed. Give the team grades on the offseason. Hopefully, we will be close enough to getting a real good, accurate feel on how the teams did. If we still have a bunch of players out there, impact players, that could be free agent signings. If Conforto, for some reason, is still out there on Friday, that would be a disaster. But if it happens and we haven't seen some trades go down, then I might delay the team offseason grades to next week. But I would love to do that on Friday. So, again, make sure. We don't know what's going to happen with Albert, Gavin. We don't know. We're getting to the point now where some of these guys are going to be looking like, I need a team. And Albert is definitely one of them. So we will, again, wait, and we will see how it all plays out. But I'm looking forward to it. And again, programming note, we will on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we are going to be doing the AL East, AL Central, and AL West division
Not a
previews.
FA. How would you grade Winker/Suarez trade?
Oh, thank you for the super chat, Farhad. Not a free agent, but how would I grade the Winker and the Suarez trade? For Seattle, it is an A. For the Reds, it is a D+. Just don't like the trade for the Reds. I will say D+ for Cincinnati. I will say A for Seattle. I do believe Albert will get a deal, Noah. I do believe he will. Now these players, now is when their market can pick up. but they can't wait too long because there are certain, this has happened to players. We have seen them get phased out when they're not ready to be done yet. There are players that still have some value, but the teams that are out there, they want to see what they got in-house, and they don't go and sign play. I'm not saying Albert Pujols is going to be one of them, but there will certainly be players that fall into that category that maybe during a normal offseason where you have those 3 months back to work out a deal, something can happen for that player. I have a feeling that lockout will impact some players, impact some players getting some deals. No Jays news. No Jays news, Morgan. Nothing that I have seen. Now, something could have happened in the last hour and a half, but I have not seen much other than we know that they want to add a lefty bat. That is going to do it for this stream, everybody. Make sure to hit the like on the way out before you leave. We're close to 250. Make sure to hit that like and push us over the 250. Hit the like as you depart for the rest of your day. Again, tomorrow we will be back again, same time, 11 o'clock in the East, 8 in the West, as we get into the season previews. We start to take a look division by division, taking a look at the teams, taking a look at breakout possibilities, impact prospects, what their main question is going to be moving forward, all that. And we will be doing, I will be giving my division outlooks, who I think is going to finish first and how I think it all sort of plays out. So again, set the clock, set the alarm, set the timer. Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Here we are. Thank you again for spending some time with the channel, everybody. I truly do appreciate everybody that came in here. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to the members. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the new subscribers. Thank you all for spending part of your Monday here with the channel, with me. Thank you for voting. Those that voted in the with the grades for some of those players. Good stream. Thank you all for your support. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you spending some time with the channel. Thank you for being here for the stream. And those of you watching the replay, thank you for watching the video.